When you close your eyes and think of Hawaii, what do you see?
Well, you don't have to look far to find Hawaii's homeless population.
But what may
The city is
surprise you is
launching a
that some
pilot program
come
to
to
help
the
some of the
islands
homeless folks out
planning
there.
on being
Those who
homeless.
suffer from mental
That's
illness
what
and
one
addiction
organization says.
Michael Campers on
Make us inclined to seek treatment or help.
When you live in Hawaii, it's hard to ignore the major social and economic issues that come from the houseless crisis. How did we get here? Is the government not doing enough? Has the local community grown desensitized to this population? To gain a better understanding of this growing challenge means taking a deeper look into how it came about and what's causing it to fester into something unmanageable right in front of our eyes. First, let's step back to the 1960s. During this time, the U.S. government began to implement measures for deinstitutionalization. This meant that mentally ill patients who occupied state-run facilities, aka insane asylums, were moved into community-run organizations. Due to a lack of proper planning and careful oversight, many of these individuals didn't receive the proper care outside of these hospitals either, which left many of them rejected from society and, you guessed it, without a home. Although not all houseless individuals suffer from challenges such as mental illness and addiction, these problems are often born or exacerbated from living life on the streets. Of the 4,448 members in Oahu's homeless community, multi-raced individuals make up the largest portion, 82% of that chunk being of Native Hawaiian and Pacific Island descent. Also, think about the deeply ingrained stigmas our society holds about the houseless population. People will say, why don't they just get a job? Well, how are you going to get a job if you don't have an address? How are you going to get a job if you don't have the proper attire to wear to a job interview, or have an addiction problem or a mental illness? Living on the street exposes these individuals to physical and mental illnesses that could be prevented if not for living in places that no one should ever have to. Each houseless person, on average, costs the state $82,000 per year on medical expenses alone. Whoa, that can't be right. Like $354 million.
How much?
$354 million.
Just in Hawaii.
Another area of concern to the state revolves around what Hawaii is most known for: tourism. This overly relied on industry impacts the island in some not so obvious ways. Remember the demographics I mentioned before about the large percentage of this population identifying as Native Hawaiian or Pacific Island descent? Tourism has been shown to lead to more criminal activity amongst the host society, often leading to interactions with law enforcement.
A lot of the people, they end up with nothing, and they end up going and stealing from people's clotheslines and stealing from the stores.
People who have been incarcerated are 7 times more likely to become houseless compared to those who have not. If they've been incarcerated more than once, that number nearly doubles. In Hawaii, hospitality and tourism have the highest employment rate out of any industry on the island. The wages average around $37,000 a year, which is significantly lower than the averages of other industries in Hawaii. One of the biggest contributors to houselessness is low wages paired with the high cost of living. Studies show that the cities with the highest cost of living also have the highest houseless populations. So what is the solution? Well, this answer varies depending on who you ask, and the opinions are quite controversial. Is it really too expensive for the state to focus more of their funding on housing? According to their estimates, housing these individuals would save the state at least $300 million a year in Medicaid savings alone. We could also tackle this from a more preventative level. By designing more mental health and substance abuse-related trades, we could create more opportunities for young adults to gain awareness about this issue and increase the workforce for the mental health industry. don't spend more time investing in our families and our children, we're never going to overcome this.